We are live. Welcome everybody to another live session. I got a question about shadow fighting. A lot of people, obviously we're in COVID, a lot of the group classes, a lot of people are not training, so they have to train from home. So you're training with your punching bag, your bob dummy, maybe you get a partner. And I got a couple of questions about what is the proper way of shadow fighting, the do's and don'ts if you're gonna train alone. And I personally, there's a reason why boxers shadow fight, and I'm gonna get a little bit to some drills later. There's a reason why boxers shadow box. It develops your ability to visualize. It develops your ability to be creative. And the purpose of shadow boxing is for you to do your movements that you're fighting, right? So to do your movements that you're training, to work that muscle memory and recreate what you're actually learning, whether it's your self-defense, to parry and strike, to trap and to come in. Basically what you do is you take the movements, you visualize the attacks or what you're learning, and you're playing it out just with you and your ability to pretend that this is actually happening. Now, I've made some videos on my website, guys. By the way, go visit my website, nickdrossos.com. I have tons of new videos, all my new self-defense content, as well as I'm working on a brand new knife defense video that's going to be coming out next month. So I'm really doing probably the best knife defense video you guys are going to see out in the market. What I'm building, it's been almost 6 months I'm putting it together. So this is going to be launched probably next month, maybe the month after. So anyways, just, visit my website, nickdrossos.com. So now, what are some of the things you want to do when you're shadow fighting and visualizing? The first thing is, when I start my first round, I basically just start more of a warm-up with my body. No resistance, no nothing. What I focus on, because sometimes I see people shadow fight and they're like, and they're throwing like big punches, hyperextending their elbows, they're tensed up. This is the moment for you to play with it. You want to go light, boom. Make the movements, right? Make the movements, work your footwork. Here, boom, 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 boom. So you're playing with it, right? I'm working a lot on my flying knee. So when I'm shadow fighting and I'm doing this, boom, I work on my flying knee. I'm gonna work on my kicks, but slowly, boom, boom, bap. I'll sit here, boom, boom, boom. I'll work on my footwork and I'll visualize those movements, right? So the first round, I'm gonna go very, very light and just warm up the body. The second round, what I like to do is I like to add some resistance. I talked a little bit about it in the video yesterday. I'm gonna add bands. I'm gonna add ankle weights. I'm gonna put resistance as much as I could in my body to develop strength. Again, I'm visualizing, I'm not hyperextending, I'm not making harsh movements, but what I'm doing is I'm playing with it. Now, if you're shadow fighting or shadow boxing for the first time, I should have mentioned this earlier, start by doing it looking in the mirror, because it feels odd for people because they're like, oh, Nick, well, what am I looking at? So always start by doing it in the mirror where you could actually see what you're doing, see your movements, and if you catch yourself doing anything that you don't feel comfortable with, or if you catch yourself doing the movement where you're telegraphic or you're not going through full range of motion, then you could learn to start auto teaching yourself, training, be able to pick up any bad habits that you're developing. So start on the mirror. Then what I normally tell people is start by example, putting something on the ground. So, right, if I put this on the ground over here, start by putting something on the ground. Let me move this back a little bit, guys. Right over here. Start by putting something on the ground, and the goal is for you to work on, the goal is for you to work around whatever you put on the ground whatever you put on the ground and move around it, right? So you have a sort of reference point of where you're striking, right? Again, avoid, like, you really want to work on that visualization. So don't bother with the bag or fixate on one point in the middle. So you work on moving around, working your footwork, and start putting in those strikes. Once you've done it on the mirror, you're able to do it moving around an object and training it. From there, I would say just visualize with nothing. Right? Now, if you're doing your self-defense or your Krav Maga training, what I would tell you is visualize the scenario. So visualize, like, my hands are up, I'm talking to the guy, I'm trying to defuse the situation, and from there, I see him reaching for a knife. Boom, I'm trapping. Bop, I trap. Boom, I strike into the throat. Oh, he just went to throw a punch. Boom, I stepped in. As I stepped in, I clinched. Boom, I throw a knee. He's going for a takedown. I slip, I get out, boom, I boot the head. So I break down the scenario step by step, right? So then, again, when you're doing these visualization training, and if you're doing it for your Krav Maga or your self-defense training, visualize as well that you get hit, that you get stabbed, that you fell. Add that into your visualization training, but the key is to develop the mindset is that you're always fighting. You're never stopping, you're never quitting. So through every range, every motion that you're doing, you're always fighting through it. Okay? Again, and don't create scenarios that are not realistic. Don't visualize a backspinning kick if you can't do a backspinning kick. Visualize what you're doing, your training, and put it into as much as possible reality in your head here. So if you're training, let's say, again, for defense against a bat, and we're training to step in and jam it, right? You're not gonna do this. I'm gonna step in and jam it, right? And then what I like to do is like, I step in and jam it. Oh, he's reaching for something. Boom, I trap, right? From there, he's trying to like pull back. I step, boom, I headbutt. So I follow through every range of motion as I'm striking. And I'm reenacting step by step the entire scenario. Again, I'm gonna play it out where I fall on the ground, where I get hit. And you could play this out with multiple attackers. You could actually, if one of your biggest fears is, I don't know, being attacked by two guys and one has a knife, play that out in your scenario. Play that out in your head. Play that out. But the important thing when you're doing this, you're always fighting through. You're always going all the way through, and you never give up. That's the idea. You never give up. You never back down. You keep fighting. So even if you get hit in your scenario, in your role playing, you keep fighting. Okay? So if you guys have any questions, now's the time to ask them. How are you, Nick? Best life. I'm doing awesome. Do you like chicken? I love chicken, Connor. Bravo. So again, guys, play those scenarios out. Okay? So I'm going to do a last breakdown. Start by warming up. Boom, boom. Start by just using the muscle memory, the movements, without any so much a fixed of, you don't need to visualize so much you're fighting somebody, you're boxing. Warm up the body by making all the movements. Second, start by doing it in the mirror where you're watching. Even me, when I'm looking at the camera, I could see what I'm doing. If I see something off, I'll correct myself. Then get to the point where you put something in the middle and you're moving around it, right? The idea is for you to work as well as moving around, striking. Again, visualize there's something here, and as I'm striking, boom, 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 and I'm working on that. From there, add some resistance, the bands, weight vest, ankle weights, waist around the knees, and work on that strength at the same time. The last step is, for your self-defense and your Krav Maga training, visualize these scenarios. Break them down, right? The movements that you're learning, play them out. But don't play them out that you're gonna pull out 4 to 5 moves without your attacker flinching or moving. Every time you make a move, train that he moves right after you, that he's going to sucker punch you, going to pull you down, he's going for a weapon, he's pulling out something. You don't want to learn, like, you know, it's unrealistic that you're going to be able to do 5 attacks at the same time. Chickens are smart. They only attack whether they think they can win. Otherwise, they run away. I mean, it makes sense, right? Well, if you don't have a choice, then, like I tell people, and I've said this before, running is not always an option, right? If you're in an elevator, staircase, in your car, most attacks happen in close quarter range. And unless you're the invisible man who can run through walls, then you don't have a choice but to fight. As well, it could be counterproductive that if I turn around, I have my back exposed, so I make myself a lot more vulnerable for attacks. So I always say, I'd rather face my attacker if I'm in close quarter range than try to think, how am I gonna escape? And I have a great video with Helen where I'm trying to run to the door as she's attacking me, and I get stabbed because I could never run fast enough to open the door and get out. Any obstacle you have in the way will slow you down. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell. Go visit my website, nickdrossos.com, guys. Tons of brand new content up there, new videos. I'm gonna be launching my new knife defense video next month or the month after. I've been working really hard. I've created new drills. I've tweaked a few things. I've put together, I've been working close to 6 months to put this program together, and I can't wait to share it with everybody out there. So guys, subscribe, hit the bell, go visit my website, nickdrossos.com. Stay safe. I'll see you guys soon.